Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Men Who Cry podcast. You know how much I love podcasts when I'm doing this on a Saturday afternoon on Memorial Day weekend. Luckily, it's just raining over here in New York. We have a first-time guest, Armon Sadler, writer, podcaster, tastemaker. Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate this.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me. Love to see black men podcasting. Love the title of the podcast, The Men Who Cry, because vulnerability and emotions are often very looked down upon. And I think that's been one of the biggest growth points in my 20s, and now I'm 30, is embracing the emotions, letting them out, letting the happy tears flow, letting the sad tears flow. And so I just really fuck with that title. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here on my podcast, not to sneak self promo in. But
no, promo. Man. That's why you're here.
It was started pretty much to be in opposition to everything that podcasting was in 2019, when all these various celebrities and the DJ academics of the world and all that were rage baiting, were thriving off of hate and negativity. And so I often think that to myself, like, man, if I went the engagement bait route and just trying to get hot takes and clips off of everything, yeah, I could have been rich already too. But I am glad that I kept my integrity. And so it's great to connect with a podcaster who views it the same way.
Facts, man. And for the kids out there, for you, don't be like us. Get that money. Either way, we are here to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the man who feels like he is an economy unto himself, which is Drake. We are talking about his 3 albums, but I feel like this is really one album. But before we get into like the whole review, I need to know first, one, I guess where you stand with Drake overall prior to this album release.
Yeah.
And how did you feel the beef kind of disseminated or kind of maybe changed some perspective of who he was?
Yeah, that's a layered one. We could probably do a whole episode on my fandom and then the beef as well. But I'll try to say it in as little words as possible, but maximum effect. So huge Drake fan. He's my favorite artist of all time. And that is, he stands alongside Usher and Michael Jackson and Neo and Biggie for me. But he's the number one guy. When I discovered him back in like 2008 and heard Something and heard just all those early Drake records, like around the So Far Gone era.
Thank Me Later, all that good stuff.
It was just it was over. Like I was just locked in. And so my fandom's grown over the years. And I think as I've grown as a music listener and really been able to dissect the technicality of music and not just listen to it off of emotion and relating it to my life, I've grown to appreciate him even more, because he is oddly somewhat underrated in terms of how good of a rapper he is. So yeah, that's my guy. He's still my guy. As for the beef itself, obviously I stood on one side of the fence. I would be a complete idiot to say he didn't lose. There are some Drake fans who claim he didn't lose the beef. I'm not one of them. He did lose. And I think that's okay. I think losses are what make people great. I think back to LeBron losing his first 2 championships and kind of knowing, all right, when I get to the finals, this is how I have to approach it. So Drake lost. I mean, I do think that part of me believes that he was kind of fighting a losing battle already. Kendrick Lamar, who had never been in a rap beef before, was being called the boogeyman. And he has this fan base of people who really adjust the margins for him. A lot of the things that artists get critiqued for, Kendrick doesn't get critiqued for. I think Kendrick is great. I've rocked with his music. Damn is a fantastic album. I liked Mr. Morale. People don't like Mr. Morale. I like Mr. Morale. But I do think that there is a difference in the way that they are assessed that kind of gave Kendrick some advantages during the beef that Drake did not get. But if we're talking just straight up who outperformed who out strategized who, Kendrick won that. If you want to talk about better songs and all that, that's a different conversation for me. But Drake lost, and I think it was a good thing for him in the long run. I think he was on cruise control for a while, from like 2020 up till then. He was just on top. He had no one really challenging him. He could do whatever. And I don't want to say that he was bored, because I still think he was putting effort into the music, but there wasn't really any motivation aside from just staying on top. And now he kind of is the underdog narrative wise. Obviously, he's still the top streamer, still the biggest seller, all that. But like narrative wise into the culture, he had to fight up. He had to climb back up. So I do think it was good in the long run. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think the album that we're going to talk about kind of shows, you know, what that experience did for him.
Okay. I think that was a good, nice layered explanation of who he was and kind of where we're at now. And I think, I think the beef, and this is going to be a topic a little bit later, but like, I think our understanding of beef changed. Did you watch Beef on BET? You know what I'm talking about?
I did when I was younger. I haven't revisited it, but I definitely watched when I was younger.
So for kids out there who don't know, BET, it used to be a black entertainment network. They had a series on BET called Beef. Because as a kid, funny thing is when you grow up kind of without social media, like finding things is very much like word of mouth, kind of like you're like traveling throughout the world to find this leisure, aka barbershop talk. And so I remember watching Beef and being like, growing up in New York, the only beef that ever mattered was Jay-Z and Nas. It's the only beef that was literally the only beef in my mind, and Biggie and Tupac, because they died. Yeah. Outside of those, no other beef was relevant in my mind, because I was like, wait, 50 Cent was beefing with literally everyone? I was like, who's Little Flip? Him and T.I. were fighting? Like, you're just going through all these like discographies, and like I remember Nelly was beefing with somebody.
KRS-One.
Yes, KRS-One, which is, again, what's a great comparison? That would honestly be like Lupe Fiasco and Future getting into a beef. Maybe not even, yes, Future. That's probably the most closest comparison I can make to what that was. Yeah. Okay. And my point of all this was that, this was just part of culture. This is what it was. This wasn't anything different. And even, prior to this beef, when you had Pusha T and Drake, you had Drake and Meek Mill, like you would have these beefs per se, Nicki and any woman in hip hop, like literally. You would have these things, but they went away, right? Yep. Like it happened, people cooled off, and it went away. This to me was the first beef, and I feel like it frankly ended beef, because I don't really think we can have beef in the same way that we did before. Now, part of it is that there are a lot of people in the room that just kind of mess up the room now. Yeah. I think that's a large part of this, but I think a bigger part is that y'all don't know when to stop. Like, y'all don't know when to stop. Like, it's over. I've said this before on this pod. I am not a stand for anything. There's nothing I stand for, right? Like, I see, maybe because my favorite artist at the time was Kanye West, and that is like the most flawed person to be your favorite artist of all time could be. Yeah. So I do not try to act as if like I do not see what's going on with whatever people who might not like whoever I like, right? But not y'all. But at the same time, it's enough. Like, it happened. It's done. And it's just like we have to like almost act as if Drake was this like parasite in some way that needs to be carved out. And my always feeling was that people will do that. Fans will do that. And I think when you push so much to try and like almost manufacture someone to come out. Now, again, I don't really disagree with a lot of things Kendrick Lamar said.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's what it is. Like you want me to what? I'm supposed to now be like weirded out that Drake is wearing blackface, but cool that Rick Ross was a CO? Like what kind of, we just live it in different spaces. Like which one of those things is better to be about? Oh, I'm supposed to just be really cool that Pusha T just sold drugs into his neighborhood. It sounds fucking incredible. Mm-hmm. Okay. But morally, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So I think the question I would just have is, do you think this was kind of like the beef where everyone was like, nah, this clearly jumped the shark at different points?
I feel like people are starting to come around to that now, but there's still that kind of, I feel like people, even if they see that it kind of went too far and was a bit too much, they're still like, but this is hip hop. Like, this is what we do. And I get that. Beef is one of the pillars of hip hop. You've got graffiti, you've got breakers, you've got MCing, you've got DJs, and beef competition is part of it. But yeah, it's done irreparable damage to the culture in terms of how stan bases operate now, in terms of how media operates now. It was so funny to me that there were a lot of rappers around the time, Snoop Dogg namely, who said, yo, that beef was incredible. It motivated, like, it's got people rapping different. I was like, can I have an example? Like, who stepped out and started rapping different, rapping at a higher level and really performing well based off that beef? And would they actually credit that beef for it? Like, I think music has been pretty bad since the beef happened, to be honest. There's been a few standout releases that we've gotten over the years, but something that should have motivated people to step up and be the next star because the top guy got taken out, no one really stepped in to fill those shoes. Even Kendrick had his run and then he went away. So yeah, of course, it was very entertaining, very exciting in the moment. 6 months later, people still dropping the lyrics on the timeline and all that. It got a little too much. Obviously, the Super Bowl happened. Great look for Kendrick. Salute. He sweeps the Grammys. Salute. But yeah, I mean, I too was waiting for people to just move on because that's typically what we do. We move on. Drake and Meek, we moved on. Drake and Push, we moved on. But this one, it was just so impactful and created this obsession in people. Like, I didn't know beef was this exciting and I didn't know beef activated people like this. We've never seen people act the way that they were acting based off of this beef on both sides. And now it almost feels like, well, I think it's going to last forever where the most aggressive Drake fans are always going to be anti-Kendrick and not want to, listen to him. And I think the most aggressive Kendrick fans are going to be anti-Drake and not want to listen to him. Or if they are listening, they're hate listening. They're listening to pick apart things that they dislike and then start wars on social media. And it's just really annoying.
Yeah. I think that last part of just, it's not fun no more. Mm-hmm. Like this used to have some fun to it. And now it's just, we just have people in the kitchen that are messing up the recipes for it. But on to the actual album. I will say kind of my piece of the album.
Sure.
I think it's probably like, it's not going to, for me, touch Nothing Was the Same, Take Care, So Far Gone, and Thank Me Later. Those four, I think, are just in whatever order you want to have. Those four are the locks. So now we are kind of competing with everything else. I have it right above Views. Mm-hmm. I have it tied with Certified Lover Boy because I feel as if, kind of to your point of like, people are so far in their corners, no one's willing to move a mile. It is ultimately the Drake that I think people, by and large part, who like him are expecting or getting, right? You're getting the bombastic stuff. You're getting a lot of the like very quippy lyrics. Like I think his rapping on this is very good.
Oh.
However, I think for me, the thing that I want, and I've always appreciate this for artists, is I always like artists who are willing to try things that are different. Like one of my favorite Drake albums is Honestly Nevermind. I still like that. I know some people don't like it because the house music. I like Big Fish Theory by Vince Staples. It's also kind of like a poppy house project, right? Like your ability to stretch your arms and enter new chambers, I think is a great thing for artists, and not just texturally with the sound that you're making, but content wise. And I ultimately come away feeling that this album just leaves me a little hollow. And the reason why is one of the things he said in the opening lines. Damn, dog, I'm pushing 40. I might need to make some changes. And I just don't feel any changes, right? Like we are literally squarely in the Drake demographic, right? We just talked about the first time you heard him, same time around my time, right? And there's nothing from this that honestly I would say is different from Views, which is, I believe, 10 years now. Because Views came out, I think it's 16. And for me, that to me is just a level of disappointment that I can essentially combine these songs, play them one time through, and you don't feel that there's like, oh, this doesn't match the way. It's like, no, this kind of rundown can feel exactly the same. And it's a 10-year gap. To me, I would want to see at least a little bit more substance of you, because ultimately I think this is an art form. Art forms are supposed to be commentaries on reality, whether it's my reality or your reality. It is a reality. And I just came away of feeling like, oh, you were just upset at bot farms and got shots off at people. Which again, sounds great. I'm not acting like the music's bad.
Yeah.
But it just leaves me a little like wanting more.
Yeah, I'm definitely not mad at that. I've seen a lot of people who share that take. I do find it so interesting that with the whole Views 10-year anniversary, like that album, he was coming off of beef. And this album, he's coming off of beef. And so
crazy to think. Yeah.
His focuses when he's rapping are on vengeance, on like we're squarely still in this shit. Like regardless of what, people call me the loser. Sure. It's like playing 2K with the homies. You lose and your homie is going on a victory lap on Twitter and group chats and stuff. It's like, nah, like we got to run that back. Like I got to get my get back. So I think the content of this being so focused on everyone who he feels slighted him does make this an album that, while we may be listening to it years from now, because it is very good production, very lush, some of the best rapping of his career, I believe, it's very much so an album for this moment. I think the next one that we get, assuming no other beefs happen, which you never know with him, I think that is when the content people are looking for will come out. Because I mean, he makes a lot of pointed expressions towards him aging and what's going on with his family, and 40 challenging him to dig deeper. Like it's some of the
he said his father had cancer and didn't expound upon it.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you feel about that? It's like, nah, we in stages like cancer. Like,
and I think in a way he's kind of displaying this crossroads he's at, where it's like, those are the things he should and wants to focus on, but he got to get his get back. Like he can't let it go. And so I kind of appreciate the complexities of that, because Jay-Z didn't move on after he lost to Nas. He was still dissing him like the next couple years after that. 50 Cent and Ja Rule have been going on for way longer than they probably should have. Like, historically, rappers.
I would also say, though, to be fair to Hove, like, because my comparison that I've always made is that Drake, I feel like every rapper now, because we now have rappers in their 50s.
Yeah.
Every rapper needs a 444. Like, at some point, I need something. I think, like you just said, I think Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers was that for Kendrick. I would argue the fall off for J. Cole was that. I think if you have put in 10 plus years of work, your life is not the same at 23 or whatever Drake was that it is at your 39.
Yeah.
Your life's not the same.
Yeah.
And to me, the fact that there's just that's just so lacking for me is the thing that, again, I already texted my friend. The baddies have decided this man is back. I have seen shebang on so many IG women's
and TikToks
top thing and the TikToks. He's back. All right,
back.
he got it. He got it back. All right, but as someone who like was cool with the emotions, with the singing, how has this stuff made you feel?
Yeah.
Dreams worth more than money can buy. Right. I love that song.
Yeah.
And it's like that guy just decided I'm tucking that in, and I'm not showing that. I'll give you little drips and drabs, but not that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that, because the point you made about him needing a 444 or all rappers needing one, it's a very common narrative. Drake's, one of his biggest critiques is his lack of content, his lack of substance. And I think people are reductive a bit when they say that, because they'll compare it to the things Kendrick talks about or J. Cole talks about, being conscious and all that. And it's like, substance and content is very vast. Like, I think records like Look What You've Done or Too Much, like those are substantive records. Like, even on For All the Dogs, he had
great records.
Away From Home, like that type of storytelling where he's talking about his come up and where he's at now and friends that he, lost touch with, stuff like that. Like that is some form of substance and content. So I think people want to see maturity from him. I get that. I think as a 39-year-old, like if it was some random dude on the street who was moving like Drake, moving around with the YNs, talking about popping perks and all that, we'd be like, yo, grown ass man, like you get your shit together. But when you're a celebrity, a rapper, a successful rapper, and all these people want to be around you and you're still in it, still in the heat of it, still trying to stay on top, like, I'm not saying we're justified in kind of looking at it differently, but it is kind of a different, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's kind a different perspective, different life.
It's a different perspective to different life. Like, and I'm not necessarily saying that's okay. Like, I think that there's a misconception about me that I defend or justify everything Drake does. I'm really just connected to the music. I do think that people have perception about him that are wrong and that can be factually proven wrong, but I don't really go hard for Drake the person. I don't know him well enough to feel that kind of connection. He's given us a lot in the music, but I'm really just connected to the music. And so I don't want this to come off like I'm defending him the person, because I mean I'm 30. When I'm 39, there's definitely a certain way that I expect to be living, and it's definitely not engaging with 25-year-old women all the time. That's not what I see for myself. So yeah, I completely get it. Me personally, I don't necessarily need a 444 from him, but I'm not mad at people who want to see that.
Yeah. Also, you can't sue. You just can't sue. Like, I'm sorry. There's certain things in a beef you can't do.
Right.
You can't sue.
Right.
It's very, if we are saying very disgusting things to each other, I then can't turn around and say, nah, you can't talk about my mama. Like, come on,
yeah.
come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Moving along though. I do have this question because I had a friend who's a teacher, and we had a high school reunion last year. So we're at the school, we're all talking. We end up going to a friend's house, and we're all just sitting there kind of chatting. And I don't remember exactly how the topic came up. We were just talking about rap, and I think we're talking about the beef, or we're just talking about like, man, there's not a lot of new rappers. And I asked my friend who's a teacher, and I was like, Candace, how many of your students want to be rappers? Because she works with like, I think 8th graders, like 7th and 8th graders. She was like 1. And wow. I was like, And And I said, like, how many of them want to be streamers? She was like, all of them. And to me, that's kind of in line the problem of where we're at now.
Yep.
You need rap was so the reason why we got so many good rappers is because a lot of people wanted to rap.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a large pool of people who want to do something, the greats will rise above, right? A lot of people want to do something. You know, it's the idea, and I hate giving this guy credit, but one of the best things I ever heard Jason Whitlock say was why the reason why Usain Bolt was just such a superior athlete to someone like Michael Phelps is the idea that only a select amount of people swim. Everybody runs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone after a certain age in their life had tried to be a rapper. It just happened. Yes. Whether you went so far to actually record and put out music to you were just bullshitting with your friends in the basement, right? It was a culture. It's a lifestyle. The fact that I don't think that many kids, frankly, want to be rappers, I think is the reason why we are kind of in this, what you said, a lot of bad music kind of being out there.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know who the best rapper alive is, but I think the biggest thing, and this is my question to you, is do people care anymore about that? Like who the best rapper alive is?
The game has changed so much, bro. It has changed so much. You don't even really have rappers claiming that. Like none of these new guys claim that. They'll say, I make the most money. I get the most girls. I have these many hits, this, that, and third, but the art of rapping is lost. And for people like us who grew up in just what an amazing 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Nas, Mobb Deep, Lupe, Kanye West, Common, like we can go on and on just naming elite lyricists who really loved the craft. And it feels like the love for the craft is gone. It feels like these artists treat it like a job or just a step towards them getting brand deals or them being in movies or partnerships, all of that. Like you don't hear artists really talking about them loving music anymore. You don't really hear them citing certain legends that inspired them to be in the space. And that's been brewing for some years now. And it's tough to see. And it reflects in the product that we get. It's tough. Like in terms of what I listen to the most, I'm definitely more of an R&B pop guy lately. And if I'm listening to hip hop, it's stuff from the mid 2010s and back, like with a couple of gems that have come in the last few years because, and I'm not mad at the evolution of hip hop. I'm one of the people who in 2016, when they were calling Young Thug mumble rap, I'm like, Young Thug is dope. Like, just stop. Like, let's not disrespect Jeffrey. Like, Young Thug is dope. I like the drill music. I like the sexy drill music Cash Cobain is doing. Like, I think all these things have lanes and that they appeal to people, but throughout hip hop's history, the top sound for the most part has always been lyrical. It's always been actual traditional rap. The top guys were always rappers, whether it's Biggie and Pac, Jay-Z and Nas, Lil Wayne's era, Kanye West era, now the Drake Cole Kendrick time. Even Future's lyrical. And when the big three is done, when Future steps away, when like there's no one who I can really identify as being able to step into those shoes and fill those shoes. I think everyone who I just named all have similar foundations, similar DNA. And I just think that DNA kind of stops here in terms of doing it at that level. There's a lot of underground guys, the Rock Marcianos, the Griseldas, all of them who did really dope lyricists. Obviously not, they don't have the same stature, but it's like, I can't envision living in a world where the top guys are making songs that are a minute 59 seconds, crooning, auto-tune, just the stuff that we didn't come up on. And things are always going to change, but I just feel like hip hop's core always needs to be what it's been. And Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Um. So I went ahead and I Googled because I think I just messed up a point. But the point is like the um like you kind of just said before, like we had so many of these artists that came out, and you just named a bunch of guys and women as well who are part of the culture and pushing things forward. But the idea is like we were able to find these people very easily,
Yeah,
right? Like even though we weren't, I would say, a part of the time of radio breaking people, we had datpiff.com, right? You had all these mixtape or these like other platforms where you can still find like artists and even the idea of making a mixtape now and all this other stuff. I don't exactly know how an artist is supposed to break. Like, how exactly do you know who an artist is or anything like that? Like, I went on to double check just to find out who the highest streaming artists were who are under 30 years old. Two of them are dead. It's Juice World and XXX Tentacion. And these guys, mind you, they're not really of this new age. These guys came out in 1918. Like,
yeah,
these guys would be considered, frankly, elder statesmen. I
yeah,
do think that that is a part that we don't talk about because, unfortunately, death in Black culture, not even just hip hop culture, is just too glorified, in my opinion.
for
But I
sure.
just named these two guys. You have Pop Smoke. You just have so many younger rappers. And again, it's not like we haven't had young rappers die before. But when you have those kind of guys who had real like appeal and chart charts, we don't know where Juice World could have been
Yeah,
if he's alive and still going. Does he have his Kid Cudi like run? What is Pop Smoke? Is he on the 50 Cent grind where he is carrying New York on his back? What does XXX Tentacion do? Right, like you just had these guys who had that kind of um uh power to them, and then they all just went away. And then you have another section of guys who just oddly fell off. Like, I don't know what happened. I know what happened to the baby, but I don't know why it went the way it did.
yeah,
I mean, he was talking about something that was popular literally in 2000. Um, but like Little Baby and him were at 2020. Those were the guys.
yeah,
And then just suddenly weren't really around anymore. So I think this change, honestly, to me, has come like fairly recently of the idea of, like you just said before, being a rapper is no longer your headline title, is a part of your discography. I always think a lot of times about when uh, Beyonce was coming up, you had to be a triple threat, as they would say, right? You had to be able to dance, you had to be able to sing, you had to be able to act, right? Like that was like the prerequisite to be a singer, right? Or
yeah,
just to be in anything. J-Lo, right? Like the list can go on and on and on. And I feel like that's ultimately what rap has been. It is no longer your, hi, my name is such and such, I am a rapper. It is, hi, my name is such and such, I do rap and I do stream. Please order from Tummy Tea with my promo code 20% off. Like, it is just part of the filtering down. And to me, that's where kind of the problem kind of lies.
yeah. I thoroughly agree. I think that even goes beyond music. I think everyone is trying to be the 5 tool creator rather than just mastering one thing. Like, you should not be trying to step out into movies before you get your music career going. Like, if you don't got no hits, if you're not, making full bodies of work that are critically acclaimed, like, you then trying to be, oh, but I'm also such and such the actor, such and such the podcaster, all that. Like, it's too much. This content creation versatility era, like, it's great. It's a lot of opportunity for people, but it's also limiting how great people can be because they're not fully focused on one craft, on their craft. Like, I yeah, I'm very concerned for the space, and I don't want to be doom and gloom because like I genuinely love it. I historically I was one of the people who used to defend it. Like you go to R&B, all those R&B is dead conversations. I was like, no, there's this person, that person, that person. Like there's talent out here. They're just not being pushed. You know the way that the big names are that you maybe don't like. And so I was one of the people who used to defend hip hop too. But as I'm really sitting here observing the landscape and project after project comes and goes, and something is marketed to me as is going to be amazing, this is going to change the game, and no game has changed. It's just like I kind of have to be honest, and yeah, so it's tough, and I think that's why the Drake releases were really refreshing because this energy was missing, and I got to give a lot of credit to Don Toliver. Dropped a really good album earlier this year.
Great album.
I hear that on TikTok all the time. All the women love that. I'm constantly hearing that. I love Don's progression of his career because he's dropped like 5 albums in 6 years. Like he's really been going in. But outside of that, like J. Cole's album, I thought it was fine, but nothing really popped off from it. And Cole's not that type of hit.
We are going to have a very big. We are very much on opposite ends of that.
Really?
And yes, I think maybe I have this set on this too. It's tough when I have a podcast. I talk a lot, obviously, as a podcaster, but I'll say things and then I don't bring them here.
Yeah.
Honest to God, with everything that came out, best album of the decade.
You think The Fall was the best album of the decade?
2026.
Wow.
Best album of the decade. I think that, and I honest to God, I'm not a J. Cole like we talked about. I'm not a stan.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always talked about, right, is not just is thing I talk about is depth, but one of the big things that I always do as well is one of the things I also talk about as well is expectations.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you I'm already one of the greats, whatever, but I told you that this is my last work, it might not be. Most rappers lie. Let's believe him. This is my last work. I'm no longer doing this anymore. If you put out a dud, people are gonna remember that. Mm-hmm. Like that's gonna sit with people for a long time, right? After what just happened with this beef, you already just had this beef, yada yada. For him to put out an album that's this good, to me, puts it at a level that I am just like, wow. Like I really think that this is not, I don't think it's close. I think it's his best album. Don't think it's close. And I think that he did something in the sense of, I gave you guys the complete journey of who I was. That's the thing that I'm criticizing Drake about. It's what you said before. I don't need Drake to talk about his kids if he doesn't want to talk about his kids. I don't need him to talk about all this other stuff if you generally don't want to talk about that. But don't tease it to me and then pull it back.
Yeah.
Like even on the song like Quick Stop, where Cole's where he's describing himself, he's driving, I think he's in North Carolina. He's driving somewhere and he's rapping from the perspective of the guy talking to him and like realize like, oh, like this affects people. This isn't just me getting streaming numbers and I'm making my bank. Like this is something like that. One song has more depth than the entire Drake album. Like, I'm sorry. Like it just, that one record. And I was like blown away. Like listen, I'm still playing this Drake album. Ain't no shame.
Yeah.
But I played that Cole album. That album came out like Super Bowl weekend or whatever, like around the Super Bowl time.
February 6th, I want to say.
Yeah. It came out because it did because I remember I drove to a friend's house to watch Super Bowl at her place with her family, and she lives like 2 hours away, 2.5. So I just played the whole thing, and I honestly stopped playing the whole album maybe like April, maybe like early May. Like I think it is better than Mr. Morales and Big Steppers. I obviously think it's better than Iceman. Like none of the big time people that put out an album that I have heard I think it's better than this. I think it's better than the Clips album. I think it's better than Jid's album. Like, I think it is the best album of this decade. Will it stay that way? I don't know. We got 4 more years left.
Yeah.
But as of today, yeah, best album of the decade.
I mean, I'm never mad at someone's perspective. I just being a journalist for so long, being a podcaster, being on Twitter for so long, I don't argue opinions. I don't argue preference. So I think it's dope to hear that, because as on my side of the internet, in my circles, I don't really hear people talking about the fall off. And it's like, I fuck with J. Cole. I've been a fan, my for as long as his career has been, like, I've been a fan of his. Like, not too many things he's done that I've disliked. And I think with it being his last album, like, I wanted it to feel like more of a statement. And again, these are just my circles of the internet. So.
No, let me. I need the back form. I want to hear. This is what this is. There's no stats to this. This is just how we feel.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so definitely good music on there. Definitely some records on there. And I think the thing with Cole is he's not an intentional hit maker, but he will come up on a hit, like, just naturally, the way people gravitate towards things. You got the No Role Models, stuff from his earlier in his career. Like, it's his storytelling, it's his rapping, it's his rapping ability. It's the way he can put things he can make things so plain and simple, but they're still so effective. You don't got to do all the lyrical gymnastics and all that. And so that's definitely what I appreciated about the fall off. I thought that it was a good concept. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, for some reason, it wasn't something that I wanted to go back to. And I'm typically the type of music listener who really revisits stuff. I really want to grow and like grow with an album and understand the stories and listen to hear things that I didn't catch before and all that, like, essentially really study them. And yeah, I got through it a couple times, thought, okay, definitely not bad. But it just didn't have the same, it just didn't stick to me the same way like the off season did. I love the off season. That's my personal favorite J. Cole album. I thought that the production was so dynamic. I thought the features that he picked were so intentional, and they all had great moments. There was this hunger within him, and I'm not expecting him to be hungry on his last album, so that's perfectly fine. But yeah, that one was one that I was running up. That's a classic to me. But again, it's been a few months, so maybe I just got to revisit the fall off. I'm perfectly fine with that. One thing about me, never afraid to change my mind. People love to pull up old tweets, be like, oh, but you said this back then. Yeah, I said that back then. Now I'm changing my mind. I have the right to change my mind. Smart people, when they get exposed to new information, change their minds. So, maybe I'll play it soon and I'll feel differently, but it was fine. It was good, but it didn't hit me the way previous J. Cole albums have hit me.
It's also very long. So I agree with that. One of my friends said this is music for niggas who want to have 2 kids in the house. But either way, that was hilarious. I mean, listen, like, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, at all.
What's wrong with having 2 kids in the house? You know what I mean? I don't got that, but
it's very crazy to see the family man be a piece of slander in this era. I'm like, isn't that the goal? Isn't that like, we play the game to win the game. Winning the game is finding a wife, having a family, having a comfortable life, providing for them. Like, that's winning the game. So why is that a bad thing?
Listen, this triggered in my mind the ADHD, but it's fine. Years ago, have you ever been to this place called Kinfolk? I'm giving these people free promo.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
A spot in like Williamsburg?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was there. This kids out there, if you were listening, there was a club in Williamsburg. I have a whole nother story about this place, but I'm not going to get to it. It's basically, it was like a hip hop ish lounge or whatever. But this place was popping from like, I was like 2016 to the pandemic might have killed it. So maybe like 2020. Because I was just over there. It's like a rodeo bar now.
Jeez.
But yeah, it's not great. But I was in there one time and I was dancing, whatever. I'm doing my thing. And I looked over, and like I could clearly tell these dudes were like at best 10 years older than everyone else. Mm-hmm. At best. And I'm just looking at them, and they kind of like, and they clearly standing out because they got the berets on. I mean, the clothes too big. You know what I'm saying? They like, I could tell that you out there giving me a grand rising conversation if I talk to you. Stick it in sense. Like I could just see it in your face. And I looked at them and I was just like, I'm never going to be the old dude in the club.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not. I looked at them in the face and I was like, that's not going to be me. And I feel as if we have now switched that to no, that is me. I am in the club. Like I like, nah, dog, I ain't gotta be.
Nope.
Like it's you really want to worry about getting shot at 37? Like that don't feel like a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I memean? Like
I'm not trying to be out here buying bottle service for random girls who are just flirting with me to get my liquor. Like I've truthfully never liked clubbing anyways. Like the only time it was really fun was when I was like 19, 20, going to clubs that I wasn't legally supposed to be in yet. So there's that thrill of like, yo, I'm here before I'm 21. Oh, it's lit. But then you get in there and you have 19-year-old money and you go to buy a drink and they're like, here, $18 for this watered down vodka cranberry. I was like, God damn, I ain't got money like this. I got enough for maybe like 2 drinks. And then, fortunately you're out with your homegirls. So they get invited to a section and they tell you to come over and they pour you a couple drinks. But yeah, once I was of age, I was like, clubbing, not really for me. You'll catch me at a dive bar playing darts, playing pool. But yeah, so if I ain't like clubbing at 21, you will not catch me there at 37.
just some wild times. Last thing, I guess, is that, and we touched on it a little bit, but a little bit of the idea of like best rapper alive kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
My boy, Kerry, he was on this pod, and it's funny because, man, I didn't know Rod Wave had so many fans because they were kind of ripping him for saying that he thought Rod Wave was ass.
Oh, my.
I don't listen to Rod Wave like that, so I cannot determine the level of ass this man is or is not.
Yeah.
But the conversation in large part was more or less about, do we need to have a best rapper, right? And not like Drake, Kendrick, Cole. Like I'm really trying to. They're like LeBron, Steph, and KD to me. They gotta go.
Yeah.
I love them, but they gotta go.
Yeah.
We need a guy, or in my opinion, do you think we need a guy who's like 24, put out something that's great, and we're all like, this is the new prodigal son kind of deal?
Yeah. I mean, we've needed it for a while. Like, people have been waiting for the next one since Views, because that's when people were like, oh, Drake is on the decline. And Cole, what did he do that year? Oh, he did For Your Eyes Only that year. Kendrick did Damn the next year. Like, yeah, really, since that era, people were waiting for the next guy. And you talked about a couple earlier that stepped up and had moments or unfortunately passed away too soon. But yeah, well, we need that. And I do think that there are some contenders, like guys like Ruben Vincent. Like I really like Ruben Vincent stuff. Kai Cash, incredible artist. There are some people who I think could be something, could really establish the kind of hierarchy and have the kind of momentum that, the Drake, Cole, Kendricks, Mac Millers, Wiz Khalifa's had in the blog era. But it's also a systemic structural thing. Like the labels have to want to push these type of guys. They have to want to invest in these type of guys. They have to want to develop these type of guys. Like a lot of people blame the artists, but we're not seeing artist development. I remember I did an interview with Jermaine Dupri years ago, and Jermaine Dupri said, if you ain't have a hit yet, we wasn't putting that album out. You're not throwing an album out cold. Or if your album sells this, you might not get a second album. Like stuff like that. Like labels were really gatekeeping in terms of, we're not just capitalizing on this artist's viral moment, signing them and putting a project out without really developing them. And so I think it's it's a combination of that, the artists, and also fans being willing to embrace new stuff. Sometimes they don't embrace new stuff until a certain cosign and or whatever, just something influences them to want to tap in. And we don't have enough artists reaching back and co-signing artists either. But it's like, do they deem these artists worthy of the cosigns? So it's just a bunch of different things that play into it. So long story short, to answer your question, I don't think we need a best rapper alive at this point. I just think that we need a healthier, more fluid ecosystem where talent is identified, is crafted to be the best that it can be. Fans are open, labels are invested, and these artists really love music. That's really where it starts, is really loving the music. And if you don't, then we're lost.
That is Armon Sadler. Please tell the people where they can find you. What are you doing in these streets? And give yourself the promo that you were giving yourself earlier, man.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, you can follow me at Armon Sadler on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'm on Facebook, barely. You can follow my podcast, Stay Busy with Armon Sadler, at Stay Busy Pod on all of those same platforms. Subscribe on YouTube, like, share, comment, rate, all those things that you can do. We do have a Patreon as well, patreon.com/Stay Busy Pod. I am currently freelancing at Billboard, so you can search my name and see all the various things that I've written. And yeah, that's really all I'm doing right now. I mean, things always come up. I could be doing something different, but if you're tapped in with me on social media, then you'll see it. I shamelessly promote it all. So, you'll see it. But bro, Jessica, great to meet virtually. Really appreciate you inviting me on. Shout out to Reek for connecting us. That's my guy. I love him to death. And yeah, definitely look forward to us, to doing something else together in the near future.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening. If you can please like, subscribe, review, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. If you not do these things, I have to really assume that you think that whatever that birthday song by Drake that he put out on Scorpion is his
Ratchet.
best song. I have that Ratchet. Oh my God, that song is ass.
It's bad.
Ass,
it's bad.
I'll tell you, ass. This is the Men Who Cry podcast. Thank you guys for listening.